What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to another edition of From the Sandbox Sports, man. We appreciate y'all for being here, man. We appreciate the patience too, man. If y'all rock with us, be sure to tap into From the Sandbox podcast anywhere you get your podcasts. From the Sandbox Sports on YouTube. Shoot us a sub, shoot us a like, all that, man. Turn your notification bell on so you know when we drop. And we appreciate y'all for being here, man. Today I'm Dolly. We got a new segment coming for y'all today. We've been a little bit sick here and there, so we haven't been, we took last week off to heal up a little bit. I had that walking pneumonia, man. I was coughing, last Friday, man. I was coughing and I felt a pop on my side. I said, oh God, I'm getting old. I think I slipped a damn rib or something coughing, but hey, we back. Better than ever. It gave me and Ty a little bit of time to game plan what we got going on. I know, football is sadly over, but quickly approaching. We got spring games coming up soon. A lot of things happening in the football world. March Madness coming up, golf, baseball just kicked off this weekend. Shout out them Tigers for putting in work. But yeah, we just had to come up, with a game plan. Figure out where we're going to take it, what we're going to do, live shows, live events, maybe covering some high school sports. We just had to, game plan a little bit. So that little week break was good for us. Like I said, in the intro, man, we appreciate y'all for tapping back in with us. We ain't going nowhere as long as y'all don't, man. Y'all keep these lights on. And for that, we greatly appreciate y'all. But, so this new segment we got going, haven't come up with a name. Oh yeah, let me slow down right quick. We will get into the Super Bowl and the Bama Auburn basketball game. We'll get into all that when Ty gets back. He'll be back Monday. So we will have some other breakdowns, but this will be our new episode segment. And I'm also gonna be doing Tiger Talk Tuesdays. Where I, break down everything Tiger sports. I don't know if it'll be this week or next week, but, like I said, stick with us, man. We're, new to this. We're true to it, though. But, we got a lot of things going on, work, kids, all that, man, so bear with us, man. We're trying to get the professionalism to a T, but, we're getting there. But the new segment we're going to be doing today, we'll be breaking down the win-loss over-unders for each conference, Power 4 conferences. Today we're going to be starting the SEC. We're going to do, each segment will be, about 7-8 teams. We'll break down their schedules, what Vegas has them at, their win total, and, just give our thoughts on it. So without further ado, let's go ahead and pop the SEC off. And first up, we got Georgia at 10.5 wins. For a Georgia team who is notoriously on top, it's hard to say. It's hard to not think that Kirby Smart's going to come out with 10 dubs. But, they got that catch there, that 0.5. And, with Carson Beck leaving, Gunnar Stockton is a good quarterback. He showed he can, do all right, but is Gunnar Stockton going to lead Kirby Smart and them to 11 wins this season? I don't know, but let's go ahead and get into the schedule right quick. They start off the year at Marshall. They start off the year Marshall comes to the house, then Austin Peay comes to the house, and then third week, Tennessee. They head over to Tennessee, which is an interesting game. I think when we think about quarterbacks in the SEC, is the first two that obviously come to mind for me is Garrett Nesselmeyer and Nico Iamaleava. Nico had a hot start. He hit that freshman wall like we all knew he would. I think going into Ohio State in the playoffs, getting throttled was a big learning curve and a big step for his career. He didn't throw the ball bad all season. Could he have used his legs some more and could they have got him involved in the run game a little bit more? Yeah, I think so. But that's something they'll figure out in spring ball. And I think Tennessee will be a hell of a team come 2025. But yeah, they're at Tennessee and then they got a bye week before Bama comes to the house and then Kentucky comes to the house. They go to Auburn. Ole Miss comes to the house, bye week, go to Florida, go to Mississippi State. Texas comes to the crib, Charlotte comes to the crib, and then they obviously play Georgia Tech in Atlanta. So as I'm looking at this schedule, I think the first two are Marshall and Austin Peay are obvious dubs. But going to Tennessee week 3 after playing Marshall and Austin Peay, I'm gonna go ahead and take Tennessee on that one, man. So that's 1 L. That's 2-1. Bama, depending on the quarterback, man, we don't know what Bama's gonna do, but we do have a spring portal coming up. So don't know. I'm gonna go ahead and say a dub there. That's 3-1. Kentucky. See, I know what they did against Kentucky last year, but we obviously just see Kentucky on the downfall. I don't know if Stoops is gone, but I think if he's not, he's on the hot seat. So yeah, I think Kentucky's going to be a dub. That's 4-1. At Auburn is interesting. They got my man from OU, Jackson Arnold. I think he'll be a great plug and play into that Auburn, what they want to do. Hugh Freeze wants to go speed. And that's kind of what Arnold did at Oklahoma. I just think it was too sped up at Oklahoma, if that makes sense. I think, they tried to run that RPO type deal, and I think it was just a lot for, I believe, a redshirt freshman. I think it was just a lot for him. It obviously didn't work out. But we saw what they did with Bama when he got his legs involved and everything just opened up. So depending on, the what goes on with Auburn, if it can click, if it can, work out, obviously, I think that'll be a dub. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5-1. Ole Miss at the house. If it was at Ole Miss, I would say a L, but at the house, I'll go dub. That's 6-1. At Florida is a tough one. Depending on, and it's late in the season. Right now, I'm gonna say a dub for Florida. I like Lagaway. I like his maturity that we saw at the end of the season. And 7 games in of next year, I think he'll hopefully stay injury free and just continue to grow. Man, I think he's one of the better quarterbacks in the SEC. Like I said, young cat, but I think he's got a lot of potential. He's got a lot of what's the word? What's the word I'm looking for, y'all? Come on, leave in the comments. What's the word I'm looking? He's got a lot of I'm stuck. He's got a lot of potential, man. He's got a lot of things he can in his arsenal, in his package that could really take this Florida team over the edge. So at Florida, I'm gonna say L, man. I think I don't see. I'm not gonna get into it. Yeah. So I got Florida L. So that's what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8-1. Then we go to Mississippi State dub. Texas comes to the house dub. What is that? 10-1? 2. Hold on, guys. I'm sorry. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9-1. Charlotte 10-1 at the house, and then Georgia Tech. Oh, Georgia Tech. Man, I'm gonna give them a dub just because of what happened last year. I think that was a fluke. So 11-1. Before this started, before I reviewed the schedule, I had to sit back and think about it. I think Georgia still is Georgia. Kirby's gonna have that defense on point. But I'm going 11 wins for them, and possibly an SEC championship. I think I think when we're talking about SEC teams, that obviously Georgia is on top, man. Kirby Smart's been there, done that. Next team we're going to talk about is Texas. Obviously, Sark is solidified in the game, but I think let's just go ahead and get into Texas. They got Vegas has Texas at 10 wins, no hook. The thing with Texas is what I'm kind of nervous about is, can Arch Manning live up? He'll never live up to the hype. And I'm not talking about the Manning name. That's we get that. He's a Manning, cool. But I think he has just as much pressure on him as LeBron did coming out of high school, man. Everybody is expecting this cat to come in here and take Texas to the national championship. You know, last year they were all talking about, and hell, even we did on here saying, oh, they should have put Arch in. They should have put Arch in. Arch did all right when he got in, but I think that we, the fans, have put so much pressure and so much stress on this kid, and we don't even know what he's made for. We don't know what he's made of. Is he made of 10 or is he made of damn diamonds? Like, we don't know. Is he hard? Is he soft? Like, pause. I don't know. You know, I just don't think he'll ever be good enough is what everybody is putting on him. You know, I think he can throw it okay. You know, he obviously can run it a little bit. From what we've seen, he kind of has a tendency to, you know, lose the ball some, you know, fumbles. He's fumbled a few times, fumbled a few snaps. But I think the kid will be good. I do. I think he's going to be this phenom that everybody thinks he is. Me, no, but that's just me, man. You got to show me before I get on here and say, oh yeah, Arch Manning's the next coming of Jesus. He's the next Cam Newton in the SEC. No, man, I'm not falling for none of that, man. So that's a lot of wins for a sophomore quarterback with all this pressure on him. But let's go ahead and get into their schedule. They start off at Ohio State, which, hey, let me start by saying this. Shout out to Texas for doing this. You know, a rematch of the semifinal game, starting the season off hot. I wish a lot of teams would do that, man. Starting off with Marshall and Georgia State. Like, come on, guys, let's play somebody. But I get it. You want to get your feet wet, this and that. But I'm an LSU fan. We always start with some hot shit. So, you know, I'm spoiled. But yeah, they go to at Ohio State. San Jose State comes to the house. UTEP comes to the house. Sam Houston comes to the house. They got a bye week. They're at Florida. OU comes to the house. They go to Kentucky. They go to Mississippi State. Vandy comes to the house. Bye week. They go to Georgia. Arkansas comes to the crib. A&M comes to the crib. We talk about SEC schedule. This is pretty tough right here. Their big games, a lot of their big games are away. So off rip, you know, just what Ohio State has coming back, L off top. So that's 0-1. San Jose State at the house, 1-1. UTEP at the house, 2-1. Sam Houston at the house, 2-1. And could they lose one of these three? I think so. I think every year a SEC team is stunned by, you know, what Bama does with South Florida. You know, they have these teams who come in and give, you know, schools a run for their money. And I think one of those could drop, but we'll give them benefit of the doubt. So L at Ohio State, 0-1. San Jose State at the house, dub, 1-1. UTEP at the house, 2-1. Sam Houston at the house, 3-1. Off, and then they go to Florida. I had Florida beating Georgia. Do I see Florida beating Georgia and Texas at the same year? If they do, they're obviously got something rolling, and I can see them in the championship. But I'll go a loss at Florida. I think when we're talking about Texas and Georgia, I just think when it comes to a offensive shootout, when it comes to teams putting up points, I just think if everything goes right for Arch Manning, he obviously has more tools. He has more, intangibles than a Gunnar Stockton. If Gunnar Stockton's even the quarterback, you know, I think Sark can get by week 5 or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. By week 6, he can get, you know, Arch Manning incorporated in the game how he wants to. He get the flow of the game. So I'm going to dub at Florida. So that's 0-1, 1-1, 2-1, 3-1, 4-1 going into OU at the house. So with OU, you know, obviously they got the Washington State guy. Can't think of the name off top. Then they got John Mateer, who I believe was one of the best, if not the best, transfer quarterback. I think it's going to be a whole different OU this season. Am I saying a 7, 8, 10 win season? I don't know, but I think it's going to be a whole lot different OU team. Venables is going to have that defense on point. They're returning some guys. They're returning most of their guys. I know Danny Stutzman's leaving, and maybe some, I can't think of no, but Stutzman's leaving, but they're returning a lot of guys. But Texas at the house, or OU at the house, that's obviously one of the biggest rivalries in the game. Texas got them last year, man. I'm gonna have them drop to OU this year, so that's 0-1, 1-1, 2-1, 3-1, 4-1, 4-2. Kentucky at Kentucky, 5-2 at Mississippi State, 6-2. Vandy coming to the house, 7-2. Off, and then at Georgia. What did I say for Georgia? I don't remember what I said for Georgia, but I'm not picking the wins and losses. I'm just picking the overall wins and losses. I'll go a loss to Georgia. What is that? 0-1, 1-1, 2-1, 3-1. Oh, my bad, y'all. I can't do this all in my head. I'm sorry. I'm not that fast. Okay. 0-1, Ohio State. 1-1, San Jose. 2-1, UTEP. 3-1, Sam Houston. 3-2, Florida. Or no, 4-1, Florida. I said Florida. I said they're going to beat Florida. And then 4-2, OU. 5-2, Kentucky. 6-2, Kentucky. 7-2, Mississippi State. 8-2, Vandy. 8-3, Georgia. Then they go to Arkansas. Arkansas comes to the house. That's 9-3. And then A&M finishes it off at the house. With A&M, obviously A&M is going to have studs. The thing with A&M is I don't feel like Elko has, and it is his first season, but I don't feel like he has maximized the potential of all the guys he's got. He got all this NIL money. He got all these guys. I don't feel like he maximized his talent. We'll see how it goes this year, but I'll go 10-2. Yeah, that's what I got for Texas, man. 10-2. I got them dropping to OU, and I got them dropping to Ohio State. Georgia, I can't remember what I said about Georgia, man. I'm sorry. But I think, or did I say? Yeah, I got a loss to Georgia. So I got 9-3. Yeah, that's what I said. 9-3. Okay. 2, 3. Yeah, 9-3. I got them going under that 10 wins. It's just, like I just said, man, it's a lot of pressure on Arch. So let's go ahead and get on to the next one, man. We got Ole Miss at 9.5. Lane Kiffin obviously is winning the portal. Lane Kiffin, I don't know what he says. I don't know what he buys for these guys, but obviously there's something in the water over there at Ole Miss that he just gets guys. Does he maximize the guys? Does he maximize the talent? Sometimes. That's Ole Miss's motto is sometimes, man. Sometimes they look like the best team in the country. Sometimes they look as a mid-tier SEC team. But Vegas got Ole Miss at 9.5 wins. So Georgia, they pop off the season at Georgia State. Georgia State comes to the house, and then they go to Kentucky. Arkansas comes to the house. Tulane comes to the house. LSU comes to the house. They're off. Washington State comes to the house. They go to Georgia, to OU. South Carolina comes to the house. The Citadel comes to the house. Florida comes to the house. They're off. And then they finish the season at Mississippi State. So all for rip, Georgia, Kentucky, Arkansas, I'll give them 3-0. Tulane, I'll give them 4-0. LSU is going to be, I'm not going to say what they're going to be because I'm not going to jinx them, but I got 4-1 LSU, off 5-1 Washington State, 5-2 at Georgia, 6-2 at OU, 6-3 South Carolina, 7-3 Citadel, 8-3 Georgia, 9-3 Mississippi State. So I got them under the 9.5. Georgia game could be different. LSU game could be different. But yeah, I got them 9-3 again. Another 9-3 team, man. I don't see a 9-3 team getting in, but shit, if they keep all that 9-3 SEC teams, they could be at Clemson and get in at fucking 3 wins. But next we got Bama at 9.5 wins. Bama, obviously I don't know what's going on at Bama, man. We got Ryan Williams over here painting his nails, over here getting nail polish sponsorships. That's here nor there. I ain't gonna get into it. If y'all want to see my video on that, tap into From the Sandbox podcast on TikTok. And it's not for the weak, man. I said how I feel like I always do, and I feel Ryan. Never mind. I'm not even gonna get into it. Y'all can go there and watch it. So Bama 9.5 wins. They got that hook there. Oh, let me get a drink right quick. Bama, 9.5 wins. Bama's going to have a quarterback dilemma. Like I said, with Georgia, there is a spring portal. They got a few guys in the chamber. We'll talk about that later. Let's just strictly stick to the schedule now. So first off, they go to Florida State. At ULM comes to the house. Wisconsin comes to the house. They're off. They go to Georgia. Vandy comes to the house. They go to Missouri. Tennessee comes back to the crib. They go to South Carolina. They're off next. LSU comes to the house. OU comes to the house. Eastern Illinois comes to the house, and they finish the season at Auburn. So let's just go ahead and get into it, man. I'll have them pop off the season with a dub against Florida State. Do I think Florida State will have a 2-10 season this year? Absolutely not. But I think, with just the statements that I heard about the Bama team, about them boys saying, we've been late to practice last year, late to weights and all this and that, which Nick Saban would have never done. I don't know how DeBoer is letting that shit fly. This ain't Washington, Kellen DeBoer. This ain't Washington, man. You are in the South. You are, this place is surrounded. This place eats, shits, breathes SEC football. So, the fact that even that was, DeBoer let that shit slide is, it's beyond me. But, I think they said it. I can't remember the exact quote. I can't remember the exact reasons behind the quote. But, they were talking about how, they're more focused this year. No jewelry in the weight room. We're on time, this and that. So, I think it'll be a different season for Bama. So I'm going to pop it off with a win at Florida State, 1-0, 2-0 against ULM, 2-1 against Wisconsin, off 2-2 against Georgia, 3-2 against Vandy. That won't happen again. Here we go. At Missouri. So that's win, 2-1, 2-2. So 2-2 going into Vandy. 3-2 going into Missouri. I know Missouri got a lot of good recruits, or they got a lot of good transfer guys. I think they got a couple receivers. I know they had the defensive end leave and go to Nebraska. I'll give them a dub at at Missouri. So that's dub, 2-1, 2-2. 3-2, 4-2. Tennessee comes home 4-3 at South Carolina, 4-4. Off. LSU comes home 4-5. OU comes home 5-5. Eastern Illinois at the house 6-5. At Auburn 7-5. Am I wrong for that? Man, forget everything I said before. Let's do this one more time because 7-5 is what I'm feeling. But let's do it one more time, man. I spoke before I thought about it, and now we got to actually go through it because this sounds crazy. So dub at Florida State, 1-0, 2-0 against ULM. That Wisconsin game is iffy, man. It's just something in my soul is saying that's a L. So I'm going 2-1. Off 2-2 at Georgia, a loss. 3-2 at Vandy. 4-2 Missouri. 4-3 Tennessee, 4-4 South Carolina, 4-5 LSU, 5-5 OU, 6-5 Illinois, Eastern Illinois, 7-5 Auburn. 7-5. Y'all heard it here first, man. Down goes Bama. We'll get into it later. I'll get Ty's reaction to it, next episode and see what he thinks. But yeah, 9.5 is a lot. I know that Bama team is, it's Bama. But, after what I saw with Milroe, who was supposed to be the man, and what they're saying about DeBoer, 7-5 is what it is. Okay, next we got LSU. LSU won the transfer portal all out. When Tiger Talk Tuesday comes around, I'll get into that more. Like I said, let's stick straight to the straight to the schedules. Let's get into it. We'll go at Clemson. Louisiana Tech comes to the house. Florida comes to the house. Southeastern comes to the house. We go to Ole Miss. We're off. South Carolina comes to the house. We go to Vandy. A&M comes to the house. Off. We go to Bama. Arkansas comes home. Western Kentucky comes home. We finished off the year at OU. So let's get into it, man. I think Nussmeier is going to have a Heisman season. So we're going 1-0 at Clemson. We're going to break this first game skid we've been on. We're going to break it against Clemson this year. 1-0 against Clemson. 2-0 against Tech. Oh, we're going to get that get back for Florida. 3-0 against Florida. 4-0 against Southeastern. At Ole Miss will be tough, man. I think Ole Miss has always been that team to give us a fit. We won it last year, but let's go a win at Ole Miss, and then we're off, and I'll get a L at the house, South Carolina. I think South Carolina is going to be a problem this year, lag away, that just how big and physical and fast that South Carolina team. I'll give them an L at South Carolina coming home. So that's dub at Clemson, 1-0, 2-0, 3-0, 4-0, 5-0, 5-1 at Vandy, 6-1, 7-1 at A&M coming to the house, 8-1 Bama at Bama, 9-1 Arkansas coming to the house, 10-1 Western Kentucky, 11-1 finishing off the season with the dub against OU in the SEC championship with a chance to make a berth at a national college football playoff. Y'all heard it here first. Hey, I know y'all see the flag. Y'all see the cup. Y'all see that purple in there. I could be biased, but guess what? I don't give a about nothing but the Tigers, man. 11-1 LSU Tigers. Next up, we got Tennessee at 9.5 wins. Like I said about Nico, I think he'll have a breakout season. But they're going first. They pop off the season at Syracuse. ETSU comes to the house. Georgia comes to the house. UAB comes to the house. They go to Mississippi State, off game before Arkansas comes to the house, and then they go to Bama. They go to Kentucky. OU comes to the house. They're off. New Mexico State comes to the house. They go to Florida and finish the year at Vandy at the house. Syracuse popping it off the start of the season is a doozy. I think that's a trap game first of the season. They're going to drop something. They're going to drop something they shouldn't, but I think they will get past that Syracuse team. I love what that Syracuse team got going on over there. I really, really do. Coach Brown got them boys, finishing off the season on a high note. I really like what Syracuse got going, but I'm going to go 1-0 against Syracuse, 2-0 ETSU. Do they win or lose against Georgia? I'm going to go 3-0. I think they're going to beat Georgia. 4-0 against UAB. 5-0 against Mississippi State. Off. Taylor Green and them. I got to repeat it last year. 5-1 against Arkansas. No, I'm not. 6-0 against Arkansas. 7-0 against Bama. 8-0 against Kentucky. 8-1 against OU. 9-1 against Mexico State. 9-2 versus Florida, and 10-2 Vandy coming to the house. So I got Tennessee over 9.5 wins. Say what you want, is what it is. It's my early predictions. And, as the spring goes on and we get to see some more, we might come back and revisit this. This is an early over under of what I think, since it's just me here, Ty. It's going to be, it's just an early one. Maybe we'll do when spring comes by. We see the spring games. We might revisit it, come back to this and see how far we are off. Because injuries will happen, transfers will happen, but this is early right here. 10-2 Tennessee. Next up, we got Missouri at 9.5 wins. They got that catcher right there. So Missouri will start off the season with University of Central Arkansas coming to the house. Kansas comes to the house. Lafayette comes to the house. South Carolina comes to the house. UMass comes to the house. They're off. Bama comes to the house. They go to Auburn, to Vandy. They're off. A&M comes to the house. Mississippi State comes to the house, and they finish the season at OU and at Arkansas. So let's just go ahead and say win against UCA. Oh, that Kansas team, man. We need a producer. I need to see what Kansas win total is. Oh, man. I'm going to say it. Upset Kansas. 1-1 going to ULL. 2-1. 2-2 South Carolina. 3-2 UMass. 4-2 Bama. 4-3 Auburn. 5-3 Vandy. 5-4 A&M. 6-4 Mississippi State. 6-5 OU. 7-5 Arkansas. Let me see. Let me go through this one more time. Dub at UCA. L at Kansas. 1-1. 2-1 ULL. 2-2 South Carolina. 3-2 UMass. 4-2 Bama. 4-3 Auburn. 5-3 Vandy. 5-4 A&M. 6-4 Mississippi State. 6-5 OU. 7-5 Arkansas. I got Missouri at 7 wins. And they were set in 9.5. We never know what we're getting out of this Missouri team, man. This Missouri team can be at the top. Missouri team can be in the middle, and Missouri can very well be at the bottom. 7-5. Good year for a Missouri team. Piss on them. Next up, we got A&M, and I forgot to write down A&M's win total, but I'll pop it up here on the screen, man. But let's just go ahead and give a blind one. They start off the year. UTSA comes to the house. Utah State comes to the house. They go to Notre Dame. They're off. Then Auburn comes to the house. Mississippi State comes to the house. Florida comes to the house. They go to Arkansas, to LSU. They're off. Missouri comes to the house. They go to Missouri, and then South Carolina comes to the house. Samford comes to the house, and they finish off the season at Texas. So let's just go ahead and go through it right quick. We got 1-0 UTSA, 2-0 Utah State, 2-1 Notre Dame, 3-1 Auburn, 4-1 Mississippi State, 5-1 Florida, 6-1 Arkansas, 6-2 LSU, 7-2 Missouri. Oh, South Carolina coming it's at the house. I'll go 8-2 South Carolina, 9-2 Samford, and 10-2 finishing off the season at Texas. 10-2. I think they're going to beat Texas. So I'd say it's probably 9.5, maybe 10 for A&M. So I got them at 10-2. And that's going to wrap it up for the first set of SEC teams. Like I said, man, we're going to split each conference into, different segments. This is just a short little segment we got, man, just to get something out there for y'all. Like I said, when Ty comes back, we'll talk, golf, college basketball, college baseball just started. We're going to talk about it all, man. So, but we will throughout the year until football season starts have, various other little segments in there. They might not be the hour-long podcast we got, but, we're going to have buku content for y'all, man. We really are, because, we're trying to get this thing popping, get it rolling. And, if y'all want to see our two ugly asses, man, y'all got us right here on From the Sandbox Sports, man. So we appreciate y'all. We love y'all, man. Tap into From the Sandbox podcast, wherever you get your podcast. From the Sandbox Sports on YouTube. From the Sandbox Sports on TikTok. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all, man. Till next time. Peace.